I'm going to read y'all a story, and I know this is making the rounds. And the reason that I chose her story because I'm also going to show another quick one on the screen, okay? I'm not going to talk about this story, but this young woman was unalived by some kids for protecting her sibling. Can you imagine that sibling has to live with the knowledge that her sister went to her grave protecting her because somebody wanted to throw a metal water bottle at her head? And yes, there is such thing as metal water bottles. Remember, those were popular before they started making the other water bottles we use now. So, and they're still making metal ones. Can you imagine being the parents of that child? She's on life support, and then suddenly you have to pull the plug on your child because no parent wants to bury their child, right? We're not going to talk about this one. I just need to get this story out there because this is going to be the antithesis of this video. We are going to talk about the story of Jada West that had been in the news. It's died down a little bit, but I'm going to resurrect it so that we can have that discussion. Without further ado, I'm going to read a quick article from The Root concerning Jada West. Then we'll talk about it and discuss it. A family in Georgia is searching for answers following a 12-year-old girl's death after walking away from a fight with another student. While the cause of death for Jada West has not yet been determined, her family has now retained attorneys Ben Crump and Harry Daniels as their fight for accountability continues. "We just want justice for my nieces," West's aunt told Fox 5 News last week. "This has got to stop, and we are going to keep saying Jada West's name." It all started back in January when West enrolled in Mason Creek Middle School in Douglas County as a new student, the outlet reported. According to her mother, Rashonda McClendon, West allegedly experienced bullying since entering the school, but nothing could have prepared her for the tragedy that would soon strike. On March 5th, West was on the school bus going home when an argument with another girl allegedly broke out, per Fox 5. Eventually, the bus stopped in West's neighborhood, prompting her to exit as usual. Several other students followed, and a physical altercation broke out between West and one girl. It's unclear if other students involved also lived in West's neighborhood. A friend ran to tell West's mother about the fight, but by the time she arrived, it was too late. Videos circulating online show West and the other students fighting before walking away. West later collapsed near her home and was rushed to the hospital. "And she was on the ground," McClendon recalled. "She wasn't breathing," her mother continued to Fox. After being rushed to Tanner Medical Center and later taken to Scottish Rite Hospital, West fell into a coma. 11 Live reported. She died 3 days later on March 8th. "I don't understand," McClendon said. "I'm angry. We have to teach our children. I'm angry. What happened to the love? We lost our love, people. Teach your children to love." It remains unclear what exactly led to the fight, although the video suggested it had been something to do with rowdy students getting loud on the bus. In response to the tragedy, the Douglas County school system released a statement saying they're leaving the investigation up to the local authorities, according to the New York Post. The well-being of our students and staff is of primary importance to our school system. Any situation that results in harm to a child is one we take to the highest level of urgency, the statement read. This incident did not occur on school property nor during school hours, and there is nothing to indicate that this is related to any on-campus activity. Therefore, this matter is under the jurisdiction of the Villa Rica Police Department. The Villarica Police Department and the Douglas County District Attorney's Office are reviewing videos of the fight as part of the investigation. No criminal charges have been linked to West's death. How tacky of this girl's middle school to sit here and say that because that fight didn't happen on campus, there is no indication that it was campus related. The reason that is a lie is because I had been watching this story for at least a good week, okay, before I made this video. And reports are suggesting that this girl's father, okay, went up to that school on more than one occasion and addressed the issue with the bullies. And they did nothing about it because the bullying itself did start on your school's campus. Okay? So while she was unalived off campus, the animosity started on your campus. So any notion that you should dismiss that is pathetic to me. This article didn't say that, but again, I researched this. This was discussed on campus and started happening on campus. Okay? So any idea that you're going to dismiss that is not cute at all. The reason that this story hurts me the most is because this woman just had to bury her only child. Jada West was her mother's only child. Okay? That's suffocating and upsetting. It just takes your breath away. Because how do you give your all to that one child that you're sure should outlive you, and she barely makes it past the age of 12 years old? Because if these people are fighting your daughter, what that tells me is they didn't have any home training. And let's stop acting like we can't blame the parents, okay? Her mother, Rashonda McClendon, said something, "Where is the love?" See, here's the problem, right? Because people who knew Jada, even her friend, I think, that ran, knew that this girl did not want this fight. And I'm going to say something controversial. Sometimes people don't want to fight a bully over something petty. Sometimes it's okay to not want to fight. By all accounts, this girl wanted no drama. She was a lover and not a fighter. And she came from a background of extreme appreciation and love. When you put your kids in this school system, understand that there is no love in some people's house. And I think Rashonda McClendon will, in time, once she can step back and think about it, because I don't think time can't heal a wound like this. And if it can, God bless her. I don't know if it could heal this wound for me. I would learn to live with the fact that that person's not coming back, but I don't know if time could heal this wound for me. The love you're calling for, ma'am, with all due respect and my condolences to you and your family, existed in your family. It doesn't stop hateful people who don't know love and understand it from attacking your child. See, here's the thing. We have a mean girls culture in the United States. And years ago when I watched that movie, because Mean Girls is over 20 years old now. Hard to believe. Yeah, that was what, 2005? I hadn't had time to look it up. That's a 20-year plus old film. Was an indication of what's really going on in your kids' high schools. And don't see, the thing is, art imitates life. And this girl is gone. And what does she have in common with the young lady who protected her sibling? She was also 12 years old. These kids are becoming more criminal as they are younger. The younger they are, the more pain they're starting to inflict. And these girls are doing something that's beyond me, because you all know When video circulates online, it's hard to completely scrub it from the internet now, depending on how fast it spreads. So, something you participated in at 12 years old, I'm talking about the people who filmed it, not the physical people who were fighting. Because trust me, if you were filming this instead of helping Jada, you're culpable too. Because one of y'all at least could have called the police. You're doing this with your phones at 12 years old. What you fail to understand is your brain is still in the middle of development. Between 12 to 18, you're going to be a different person. And when you have to go look for a job or forge a new identity and become an adult, this is going to follow you. See, that's what Mean Girls culture don't teach you, is that when you don't come from money, like Mean Girls, Rachel McAdams' characters and Amanda Seyfried's character, and I think it was Lacey Gervais, if I got her name right. Money can cover up a myriad of bad things. When you don't have it, the real world is a cold and empty place. I can remember when I was growing up in the 80s and the 90s is when I really first started to see this. Back when someone was going to beat the mess out of you, yeah, their friend showed up, but it was a fair fight between you and that person. It wasn't an ambush. You weren't picking up weapons. All you used was your fist. No one was throwing metal bottles at someone to subdue them. Nobody was beating somebody down so bad that you put them in a coma. These are 12-year-olds that put this child who is a child like them in a coma. I just don't have words for this. This is what I'll tell you, though, before I go ahead and end this video. Number one, we have a mean girl culture that we need to get in check in this country. That race has nothing to do with it. Because Jada's black and the other lady, I think, was Hispanic or Mexican. This transcends race now. These girls are getting meaner. They're putting it online for clout. And they're not thinking about the future societal consequences to their actions. We have a mean girls culture in the United States that we need to get in check right now. Understand that if you put your children, number two, in certain schools, understand if you take your kids to a certain school and staff and administration dismiss their bullying instead of addressing it, you probably need to take your kid out of that school and explore homeschool options. See, the reason I said this is particularly for Jada, because some people say, well, then you're taking away their right to socialize. No, you can get with homeschool groups. See, the reason that I say that is because this girl was almost home safe, got off the bus in her own neighborhood, and was followed by these girls and beat down and collapsed in her own yard. Number three, please don't take this personally. Again, I give my condolences to the family. If you know your child is being bullied and you were home at the time, did you have the transportation to go pick her up from school to ensure that she got home safe? The biggest thing that these parents are doing now and why some of their kids are being harmed is that you mistakenly assume that when an administrator dismisses it, they're passively dismissing it and then will deal with it later behind your back, instead of actively dismissing it and dealing with it on the spot. All of us who know this is not the bus driver's fault. It's just not. The bus driver isn't in the school 8 hours a day with these kids. They only put them on the bus and drop them off. Nor is the bus driver, and I have to emphasize this, liable in any way. And the reason I say that is because those kids are old enough to know better and willfully got off the bus in a neighborhood that's not theirs, that they had no legitimate reason to be in. So people blaming this bus driver, nice try. They were old enough to know better. 12 is when you know how to say yes ma'am, no ma'am, and be polite. You know better at that age. Last but certainly not least, my fourth point. Whatever values of love and respect and acceptance that you teach in your home, don't assume everybody teaches their kids that, if anything. Some children are angry and left to their own devices, and so when they see that you have something going for yourself, they have to take a little piece of you to feel better about their bad circumstances. Just you being a loving, kind, and supportive person is a threat to them. Because they may be growing up in an environment which is not in their control, where they never understood those concepts, or where discipline came by form of objects or throwing the fist. And because that violence is all they know, they're going to inflict it on people who don't live that in their everyday lives. My heart goes out to Jada, because I can imagine that Sunday, that Friday was a day of relief for her all of the time. And that Sunday night was a time of great anxiety, because you were going to have to wake up and go to a school every day where you know people were going to mess with you. And all you wanted to do was go to school and mind your own business. We need to get a hold of this mean girls problem, whether it's restricting social media. I didn't say take away, whether I said restricting phone time, holding more parents accountable, because they're doing that for school shootings now. Now we need to start doing that for this. The second you raise them, if your home contributed to negativity, you need to start taking responsibility for this. Everybody, they 12, they're old enough to know better. They're 12, not 15. They're middle schoolers, still in the middle of developing. To some degree, they're old enough to know better, but how much did your parenting or lack thereof contributed to it? If the law can prove that you contributed, you got to start taking responsibility. That's a controversial stance, but that's where I'm going to end it, okay? Again, my condolences to Jada West's family. If time does heal this wound, I hope it heals it in the love and that you wrapped and enveloped her in the 12 years she was here. We got a problem, y'all. We need to fix it as soon as possible.